Yo, what's going on, everyone? It is Brian and Jim here with Drink a Beer and Play a Game, and welcome to another episode of the Power Hour.
How are you doing, everyone? Welcome to episode 68. I don't know if big episode. See, last week it's weird because, like, when we got done, I was like, oh, cool, we did a shorter one. And then you put it up and it was an hour 40 minutes. And I went, what the fuck? So, who knows? Who knows how these things are going to run?
Yeah, and luckily, it seems like maybe it's the frequency. It seems like more people are starting to check into them, so we appreciate that. And Jim and I tend to just be long-winded and ramble, especially when we get too many drinks in us. So if this is your first time to the podcast, welcome. And please, if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe below or head over to, if you're listening to on iTunes, subscribe, give us a like. But
we're on Stitcher, we're Spotify. We're on all these things now.
Yeah, we're pretty much everywhere.
We're so legit!
Damn it. Jim, it only took us like 5 years.
Yeah, I know. It certainly was an incredible laziness on our part.
Yeah, that's it. It wasn't that at all.
Mitigating factors.
So Jim, what are you partaking in this morning? This fucking right now.
Well,
see?
It's 9:14 in the AM or the PM. Actually, I'm switching it up for tonight from my normal bullshit. I'm actually doing a couple porters tonight. So I have the Edmund Fitzgerald by Great Lakes and the Washingtons by Yards. So first I'm starting off with the Great Lakes. Robust and complex, our porter is a bittersweet tribute to the legendary freighter's fallen crew, taken too soon when the gales of November came early. Brewed and bottled at Great Lakes Brewing, Cleveland, Ohio. Boom.
Is Great Lakes, is that particular porter the one with the boat on it?
Yes, it is.
Yeah, it's blue. Is it blue?
What, the boat?
No, like the label.
Yeah, bluish, blackish.
I may have had that. I'm trying to remember.
It seems like something you would have had. 6% alcohol by volume, 37 EBUs. So, nothing too crazy. And tonight I'm actually using my Classic Game Room mug that I got when I was feeling... Like, Classic Game was one of the first, like, gaming YouTube channels I really got into besides The Nerd. And, like, circa 2014, he was like, I'm ending the show. Like, YouTube isn't profitable anymore. Little would he know what will be coming in the future. But yeah, through multiple bad business decisions and him being a bitter man, he kind of ruined his YouTube career, but made a nice little mug for me. So there we go.
Nice. All right. So tonight I'm trying out, not trying, I've had it many times, but the Murphy's Imported Stout. This is I've talked about enough on this site.
I did a review of it before.
We did a review of it. You can go on our site, DrinkABeerandPlayAGame.com, to read about that. And I actually compared this to Guinness because it's usually the biggest thing that draws comparison to. It's no Guinness. It's fine. It drinks really smooth. It's actually really low in alcohol. It's only 4%. So I have another specialty stout lined up after this, and I wanted to start my palate off easy. So it's a perfect pint beer, kind of like what Jim had last week. This is for anyone who doesn't like stouts or has never tried it and you want to dip your toe in that pool. It's not a bad one to try.
Cool. Sounds good. Sounds tasty.
All right, Jim. The question I always dread and I'm always curious for with you. What have you been playing this past week?
Actually, I can segue this into a little, not a huge announcement for the page, but to give people an idea. So, like, a day or two later after we recorded last week, I beat Blazing Chrome. Very fun Contra clone, like I said before, that last boss. It took me, like, about an hour to beat. I actually used Hotel Mario as, like, my litmus test for ridiculous end bosses because that took me 3 hours and, like, 50 tries. So this only took me, like, an hour and, like, 20-ish tries. So, difficult, but not impossible. But yeah, damn fun game. And then I actually started to do game capture for the Patreon reviews that we're going to be doing. So for those who don't know, for $5 a month, you can pick a game that we will review. So I've started dipping my toes into one of those games.
Should we tell people what it is?
Yeah, might as well. All right, so we have 3 people in the $5 tier who have, at $5 and up, who have given us their game suggestions. So we have Donkey Kong 64, Dragon Ball GT Final Fight on the PS1, and Tiny Tanks on the PS1. So I've been playing through Dragon Ball GT, and oh, Travis, you son of a bitch.
Is it a fighting game?
Yeah, it's a one-on-one fighter. It's actually like the first Dragon Ball game that was officially licensed in North America. And oh boy, it is
tough.
No, for all the wrong reasons.
So it's not a good game.
Yeah, ooh. It's a bit on the rough side.
Yeah, when Jim and I spoke out, like he said last week, I ordered Tiny Tanks. It was from our buddy Nick who requested it. And first I was shocked because I put it in Amazon and the price was outrageous. It was like in the 70s or 80s.
What?
And I was like, that seems really high.
Was that for sealed?
It must have been. I honestly didn't check, but then I clicked like all other buyers. And as I've said before, I'm the type, I just want the game. I don't need closed in box. I don't need or complete in box. I don't need that shit. But I bought a copy that only said like, it was mixed in with all the others that said used and good. And all the ones around the price point, I think it was like $15, said like CD only. This one is complete in box. Instruction manuals. I'm holding up the screen here. The case has a few little dings and dents, but all in all, I'm shocked the like how good it looks. So hopefully it plays well. The CD looked fine. But yeah, I've heard of this game and I haven't played it, but it looks actually like something Jim is going to really like. It's definitely his style of game. And I don't mind these ones, but looking at the back cover and when I watched the little video on it, I'm like, oh, this looks exactly like something Jim would love the shit out of.
Yay!
So, curious to see what that game's all about. And then, of course, we'll get to Donkey Kong 64 for the third entry. And who submitted that one?
Donkey Kong was Astral. GT was Hibiki, man. Like you said, Nerdy Nick, he gave us Tiny Tank.
Nice.
Yeah, I lucked out with a GT because I was like, fuck, I know that's a pretty expensive game, like in the 60s or 70s. What I didn't know was that it got re-released in 2004 when Dragon Ball took off. So the re-release version's like $20, 25. So I was like, oh, I'm getting that.
Nice. Okay, so you've been playing through that. I mentioned last week I was starting to get into that game Hellblade. Well, I finished that off. I got addicted. Once again, it took me, it might have been 8 hours, maybe 9. But I took my time with it. And I hate jumping the gun, but I would easily say it's now in my top 20 favorite games.
Wow.
I don't know where, but the soundtrack, a lot of modern games suffer from this thing of non-memorable soundtracks.
Yeah.
They don't do that much for you. Like, they're fine. They might be atmospheric, and they might give you, like, a certain this or that. I've legit re-listened to some of the songs, especially the ending song, multiple times. Like, and I've never heard music, and maybe because I had the headphones on and it was loud and the game is all about audio cues.
Right.
I was more attuned to the music, but I've never been so hyped up leading up to like a final boss and like a final situation than with music like that. Like, it's especially modern because it's well orchestrated. It's like legit music. So I'm like, holy shit. Yeah, that game, best way I can describe it is I can't describe it. It's like literally, it's almost kind of not really, I don't want to say horror. It's an action hack and slash meets Inception meets Psychosis film meets, like I said, a portion of a horror like Doom, like hellscape. It's crazy. Mix it in with God of War, for especially the Viking style. Like, it's really, really, really fun. So once again, I can't recommend it enough to people. Jim, I'm curious where you would fall because you hate cinematic stuff and you don't like stories.
Yeah.
So you're not going to probably be as into it.
Yeah.
But
I've always heard good things, though. I think it's on more than just PlayStation now. So
yeah, I played it on Xbox.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because for a while it was just a PS4 exclusive. So, all right, that's cool.
What's interesting, and I want to get your take on this. So this game does something... Shut up. This game does something that I think it's underrated, where you have, like, when you engage it with enemies, you have your sword and you have combos you can do. It's a light attack, a heavy attack, a melee, and you can, like, evade and, like, move forward. It's learning combos, they don't tell you how to do them. You just learn them, and there's a certain chain you can unlock. But you never, like, you do gain 2, I guess, if you want to call them power-ups, but they're just necessary to keep the game going. But you never actually gain any additional weapons. You don't unlock combos. I kind of like that all the things you learn is strictly, like, completely by you. So if you are really adept at, like, playing games like this, then early on, you're going to chain together combos really fast and be like, I'm pretty damn good. Or if you take your time and you, like, from fight to fight, you really play around with them, you can keep discovering new ones, like, well into the later stage of the game. And I kind of like that versus having a move list or a constant thing where you, like, oh, you've got to this point in the game. Here's how you do this new combo that you use that a lot of hack and slashes do. So what do you think about that?
No, that's pretty cool. I like it when they give you all the tools in the beginning. They're like, oh, you discover it. Makes it more immersive.
Yeah. Yeah, and especially with this one, it's so goddamn simplified that you're not, like, it's not complicated when you're fighting these things because you got to be on your top guard because unlike other games, as you get hurt, like, you all of a sudden can't do certain moves. Like, you can't swing as hard. You're moving really slow, and I love, like, true damage being shown when you go through a game.
No, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, so once again, if you haven't already, try it out. It's a great game. But with that, Jim, let's go ahead, roll right into the Patreon questions.
Oh, all right. Actually,
Jim,
as you were texting that, my
that,
wife was like, can I still put a question in for Patreon? I'm like, yeah, do it now. We're just about to get to that part.
All right, have her do it. So that's perfect. So I have a question for you. And I was going to ask you before we start the podcast. Because I heard you moving around, coming to the camera. And
okay, all right, this will only end well.
No, it's just a question, Jim. It's an honest question.
Yeah, they always are, aren't they?
So you have a very unique walk, right?
Yes. I'm for those of you who don't know, my feet they don't go straight. They're like penguinish. They go 45-degree angles, and as the years go on, it almost seems like it's gotten worse.
And I'm truly not trying to make fun of you, but I was hearing you move around and I could picture you, and I had in my head like what I think would be the soundtrack for you when you move. What do you think the sound is for you? if something was like your soundtrack,
you're gonna be using the tuba thing from Family Guy, aren't you?
Well, that's the easy go-to. And for those of you who don't know, if you've never seen it, it's this clip of Stewie following the heavyset dude. He's like, how did it go? It's like, yeah, it's that,
yes.
Yeah, when he falls. That was legit. Not even as much for the heavyset thing. The amount of time Jim has fallen and it's been funny, especially on ice around in our college
especially when
days.
I get pushed into it by certain people.
Did I push you when you were pissing in the ice and you got scared? Did I do that?
I didn't get scared when I was pissing, but I had to piss in the ice outside of my own goddamn house because everyone else in the house was having sex but me. And I couldn't get to any of the goddamn bathrooms.
So how's that different in your life now?
Yeah. I have another bathroom to go to. That's how it's different.
So that would be the easy one. What do you think your soundtrack would be, Jim?
I don't know, Brian. What's my soundtrack?
I'm just asking you what your opinion is. I'm just want to hear your opinion, Jim.
I mean, it's something with walking. Like, what is it? Is it like Walk It Out or...
You're trying to guess for me. Listen, you're the music guy. You're in a band. You're all this. I'm sure as you go through life, don't you have things in your head? Like a certain atypical beat you have going through your mind?
Always have beats. I know you're leading to something. Just give me the goddamn answer.
I'm just asking you a question. That's all.
Because you can go about this 1,000 different ways, Brian. So let's just cut the malarkey. Let's get the Joe Biden out of this, and let's just go to the answer, Brian.
Listen. So you covered the one, which is the obvious, but I could also say it's not insulting. It's like more like like very circusy, very like I guess it would be trumpets would be the right thing. Like, yeah, kind of like that, but more just like, Jim is a
Well, at least I'm jolly and happy. That screams me.
Actually, that doesn't match you.
That screams me so much.
Yeah, that was old Jimberly Jones.
Yeah, that was old stone carefree Jimberly Jones. Before the weight of life came crashing down on him.
I feel like more anymore. You're probably just more like straight up disturbed. Do 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 do. Like just angry all the time.
Yeah, I guess you could throw anything angry in there. Or just like, is there generally annoyed music? Is that a genre somewhere?
That's what I'm trying to think. What would be a perfect, just like always? I think you're most in when we were in college. Jim's one comment that would always drive us crazy. Huh? What? Like it became the joke with him. Like no matter, he could have a full on conversation. Huh? What? I think his new sound now is just.
Yep, that is my new sound now.
It's just a constant, angry, annoyed sigh at everything.
Kind of. I've kind of been a rut.
It's been like that for quite a while now. So it's like, yeah, whatever music would match that. Just imagine an angry sigh. I don't know what music would go well with that. Maybe just listen to NPR. I don't know.
Yeah, let's have the crowd figure out a good steady annoyed sigh sound for a soundtrack for me. That could be my intro music on the show.
All right. So did Sandy get in her question?
Yep, she's in.
Okay, cool. All right. So let's go ahead and run through the questions.
Yep. Patreon.com/DrinkABeerandPlayAGame, where for as little as $2 a month, you can ask a question that we will answer on this Power Hour podcast. So, starting off, Game Whisperer Dean, will you be pre-ordering the PS5? Well, that leads into one of our topics anyway. Brian?
No, I've never pre-ordered a system. I don't even know. I think the PS2 was the last system I got brand new. Because I even waited with the Xbox One. I waited a while, so I'll wait. I'm fine. I have such a backlog of games. I never see a reason, unless you're younger, to get a system brand new out the box.
Right, we got to chase that YouTube clap.
No.
We'll never be big if we're not relevant.
We'll never be relevant if we're not big.
But Brian, I'm already big.
Damn it. Yeah, you don't even need to answer. We know you're a no.
No, I mean, it's always dumb to pre-order a console anyway because the first run of it always has major technical issues. So, I mean, not that I wasn't going to be waiting anyway, but I'm going to be waiting. Yeah,
so, like Jim said, it will lead into our topic a little bit later. But good question. But yeah, neither of us, we're not that type. I don't know if there is a system that could be released that I would pre-order.
CDI 2.
You would. I know you would.
All right, next up from Eric Lewacki. Which potential Smash Bros. Character being added would interest you the most?
What's the list again?
There's no list of I mean, I think he basically means any video game character that you throw in Smash.
Any video game. Well, I've seen it. I know it's not going to happen, but for a while there, I saw them potentially trying to petition to get Scorpion or Sub-Zero or a Mortal Kombat character in there. Obviously, I love Mortal Kombat, but that will not clash in such a kid-friendly game because you're either gonna have to dumb them down like you did with Marvel versus DC versus Mortal Kombat.
You could get away with Sub-Zero probably.
You could, but he's still at the end of the day the thing that makes Mortal Kombat the thing. There's no violence, so it's kind of I wouldn't want to see that as much as I'd want to see him in there. I wouldn't want to see it watered down. I would love it if they put him in there and they put the violence, if there was a different rating, and you see him ripping off Mario's head. That would be hilarious.
Would be interesting. Probably doubtful would ever happen.
I would bet all the dollars it would not happen.
All right.
How about you, Jim?
Okay, so your answer, Mortal Kombat. You know what? I'm going to ride the Streets of Rage train right now and just say throw Axel in there. That'll be pretty cool. I think,
yeah.
It's back in the public eye. He's basically the main character of the whole series, so throw him in there. throw old Fat Axel from 4 in there. Why not?
Yeah, I could see that.
I think it'll work. It's not overly violent. Do some grand uppers
No.
on some fools.
No, that would be actually that's a more fitting, would make more sense. So that's a good question. I like that. Mm-hmm. Are they planning on how long are they going to keep releasing future fighters for that? Do we know?
I don't know because I don't keep up with the competitive Smash scene, so it beats me. Seems like every couple months they do, or maybe they're almost done with the packs. Not sure.
At this point, I would almost rather them like, unless there's something we really can't think of, just keep doing that. Like for like kind of like GTA 5, how it stays
the game
around
that never
forever.
dies.
Yeah, like just keep releasing for this current system because, or this game, just keep adding characters instead of working towards a new game because I think that's what people want. Just get as many characters as you want. I don't think many people, and once again, like Jim, I don't listen to the fighting game community that well. I don't think anyone has that big of a problem with the way it controls or the balance issues with it. So, yeah, just keep adding shit to it. That would be awesome. Like, get to a couple hundred fighters.
Yeah. I mean, there's no reason to have more than one Smash game per generation anyway, and they've never done that. So, just keep milking it until, the next Nintendo system comes out.
Yeah.
Next up, from Nerdy Nick again. What is your favorite non-gaming thing? Oh, well, okay, I gotta go back to the question. Skipped one. But what is your favorite non-gaming thing that got a game? So his would be Captain Crunch. There's a PC game that came with it in the late 90s. That was really fun.
I will go with those Burger King games.
Like Sneak King and Big Bumpin' and the BMX game. That was like the worst one.
Yeah. I just the fact that character became a character, and it felt weird because Burger King had already been around so long, and they made games out of it. It was pretty hilarious. So,
and you know what?
Yeah,
Big Bumpin' was kind of fun. Sneak King was weird, but Big Bumpin' was actually a lot of fun.
They're all and wasn't the other one the one, or was Big Bumpin' or BMX one that had Brooke Burke in it?
BMX had that.
Yeah, so it's just it's so friggin' random, but those are classics. Or that's something Jim would be like, it's got charm.
It does have charm. Charm for days. I guess mine would be I guess for purely nostalgic reasons, I might go with the old TV show Arthur and Arthur's Teacher Trouble. Just because growing up, that was like the only computer game I had because I had my brother's 92 Mac in the house, which couldn't play anything. So it was basically that or nothing as far as computer gaming goes. So point and click, like old school, just click everything on the screen to make it animate and do shit. Barely a game, but I have nostalgia for it. So that's probably going to be my pick.
Thinking about that again, could we have said, even though there's a ton of games for it, The Simpsons?
I was thinking that too. I was going to be like, but I thought Simpsons was too easy, but...
Yeah, I feel like that's too... That and like Family Guy, because I was thinking of like the mobile games for those, but yeah, no, I think I liked us being a little more obscure. Of course, you were way more obscure with goddamn Arthur, so...
Right, there's a lot. Right, the teacher or something's gay now, we're supposed to be mad.
What? Damn it, Chip. That's not a thing. And besides, now it's moved on to SpongeBob.
It is a thing. Yeah, SpongeBob. Whatever. Next up, G to the next.
It's a fucking sponge!
Bro, you could say he soaks up all the juices. He's making pie.
Oh, God damn it, Jim.
I'm just here to ruin childhoods. Next up, from G to the next level. What video game would you say you are tremendously better at when you've been drinking the night away? Ooh.
Tremendously better at drinking the night away.
I don't know if I'm better at any game after I'm drinking the night away. I'm a mess.
Oddly enough, I've realized on nights we do this and on nights I am drinking, I actually get even better at like Call of Duty.
Call of Duty's a great drunk game.
And what I've realized is, now not everyone can do this because we have friends who are really good at the game, but when they get drunk, they're no good. They're not good. But I realized I just don't care. Like, I'm not thinking as much. Yeah. So, especially
you play looser and then you wind up like putting out massive numbers out of nowhere.
Exactly, because I'm going out there being super penisy And it just pays off because people have an expectation, like, you're going to play this way when you play this game. And then I run in there like an asshole with a shotgun, and they're like, what? That's not how you play the game. And, yeah, that's one usually I do pretty damn good with. But I'm already, like, pretty good at the game. But when I'm drunk, like, I'll get crazy numbers, and then I'll have to record the clip because I'm like, wow, I can't believe I killed this many people with a throwing knife.
Yeah, I mean, Call of Duty probably would be my answer too. And just to switch it up, I'll also say, like, I never felt like I was ever better really at most games when I'm drunk. But what back in the old Smoky Jim days, I was much better at Guitar Hero and Rock Band when I was stoned, because if you're not high playing that, like, I used to be able to play for like 6-7 hours on end. But if you're just, of sound mind, after 45 minutes your hand's cramping up and you're miserable. So I would say that that's a game that definitely benefits from being under a substance. Those the pain.
Yeah, I think we should do an experiment on this, Jim.
Get me nice and drunk and do break out old Guitar Hero.
Guitar Hero. Maybe try other games. Like, get us like.
Should we buy a new breathalyzer to make it legit, like the old days?
That's right.
All right.
That's right. You certainly had issues as you got more drunk. With those
yes,
Call
I
of Duty
did. I got very
games.
trusting, didn't I?
Jim, admit it. Those were pretty damn funny.
They were fun. They were fun. They're a lot of work for no payoff, but they were fun. Maybe we'll put a link below.
Hey, it's all about having fun, right?
Yeah. Probably I'm going for clout and validation through others.
Damn it, Jim.
Next up, from Gamer Astral, what are your thoughts on gimmick accounts on Twitter? Like DJ Shaq fan account, CRT Bot, CRT Bot 2, Wario Land. Did you look any of these up, Rye, or do you know any of these?
Yeah, I equate them to a trend our buddy Travis, and I've seen other people do with, like, wrestling, especially. Like,
the Mongo account.
The Mongo account. Our buddy Travis does the Ahmed account, and then, of course, the Rick Rude Getting Atomic Drops account.
Fantastic account.
Here's the deal. They're funny. Like, as someone who looks at them, like, I'll get a quick, like, easy laugh out of it. I kind of am like, I don't get, because it takes, not that it takes a ton of work, but you, like, if that account wants to stay relevant, you got to keep posting shit. Like, the worst account and the stupidest one, it's kind of like a gimmick that's run its course, but it's, is Tess still dead?
I was just about to say that's my favorite account on Twitter.
It's
that's
so
my
fucking
favorite
stupid.
account.
He just writes,
it's so
like,
funny.
Literally, his name is Tess still dead?
And he just writes yes every couple days.
Yeah, and I'm just like, it's weird to me if you had a whole account of wrestling memes and you were doing all those things, like Mondays is Ravishing Rick Rude Getting Atomic Drop, or, but for having a thing for a sole purpose, there's just a point where it's like, this is just a limited run thing, and at some point there is an end to it. So what is the person who creates it getting out of it?
It's a cheap, dark laugh. That's what.
That's what I mean. Like, I just,
there's beauty in simplicity, Brian.
No, it is, and I'm saying,
and like the Wario Land account's just like that clip of Wario from his commercial for one of the Wario Lands, maybe on, I forget which one, but it's the same clip every single day. But even that's a little more complex than just saying, is Tess still dead? Yes.
Well, there's another one. It's like photos of Quan Chi.
Oh, the same photo of Quan Chi every day, or the same photo of Triple H every day.
Yeah, for like no reason at all. And I'm like, now there's so many of them that it's no longer funny to. Now I'm at the point, it's kind of like general, like when someone overshares a meme. Like the meme I'm at this point completely over and tired of is the fucking DJ Shaq. Like, on every goddamn song. And
it burned out quick.
Oh my god, dude. I almost hate accounts now because you can't even enjoy a good, like, that Shaq thing could have been funny, but it got burnt out in like 48 hours. And now I'm like, oh, cool, you think you're original because now you're doing it to Ocarina of Time. Like, what are you doing? At this point, I'm over that kind of shit. So while I get a cheap laugh out of it, there's a certain mentality that goes into it where I'm like, it's probably a decent amount of work, like, versus the ones that, like, Tess being dead. Yes, that's no work at all. yeah, I'm like, that's a lot of work. Like, what do you do with that? I don't know. But
well, I mean,
hey,
there's another there's one credit, there's an account that I'll give credit to, and motherfucker, but there's an account out there called Days Since Flyers Last Stanley Cup. So of course it's up to like, you know, however many days that 40, 50 years has been, and he'll update it every couple days. So I mean, I like my favorite ones are the ones that are like the cheap mean jokes like that. So like that one and His Test Still Dead, which is still my favorite.
Yeah.
But yes, to answer the question, I do like gimmick accounts. Depends on them.
Well, you're easily. I mean, we've discovered your surface on a lot of things, and that's fine.
It's true. I'm not a very deep man.
No, I'm like, hey, I literally get a good laugh. Those Mongo accounts and Hibiki's Ahmed.
Dude,
like,
the Mongo accounts making me like
time.
appreciate Mongo like more than I even did back then. Because sometimes I'm like, hey, you know what? For being just thrown to the wolves, Mongo actually got a little somewhat decent, even though he's a goofy fuck. Best flatback bump in the business right there.
What I like is they don't affect anyone, and they're not being dicks. Like, even if it's mean spirit, like the test one, I'm kind of like, I don't care. It's for a cheap laugh. So sometimes I'll scroll through it, smile, and then I move on.
All right, but good question though. So next up from Hibiki TMD, favorite version of Sparkster. So it probably just means between the Super NES and the Genesis versions. And this is actually like a series I want to get to eventually. Like I have all 4 of the games, so that's something we can bang out eventually.
Never played it, so I don't have an opinion on it.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Super NES. The Genesis version of Sparkster is weird because it's like it just feels a lot emptier and that like a lot less effort went into it, especially since Rocket Knight Adventures is so goddamn good. And like from my experience now, it's still the best in the whole series, but I would say Sparkster on the Super NES is like number 2. That's a pretty good game.
Gotcha. Yeah, we can definitely try it out.
Yep. And last but not least, from my wife Sandy, what movie can you watch over and over again and never get tired of?
There's a ton of that for me.
Yeah, I mean, for me, back in college, late high school, early college, I think, I burn out DVDs of like Team America, This Is Spinal Tap, and The Departed. Those are and Falling Down. Those are probably like the 4 movies I've watched the most of my life, again and 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 again.
Yeah, I mean, Departed's there with me too. I'd say 50% of every Tarantino movie. Or like 50.
Dude, I've seen
movies.
Django's probably the one from like the last decade that I've seen. Like that would be in that category of movies I've seen the most. That and Hateful Eight. I know you're not as big on that one, but I grew to really like that one.
You know what it is? I'm fine with it. It's just, after coming off of Django, like you had Inglourious Basterds, then Django, then that, and I felt like that is a clear lull in his movies from those 2 to that. It's not that it was a bad movie. It's just it's not in that same, like if those are A pluses, this is a B plus.
It's very different. Right, it's a more cerebral movie. This is coming from the surface level guy.
Did you see Once Upon a Time in Hollywood?
Not yet. I still got to see that.
Son of a bitch. Yeah, so me and my wife saw that in theaters, and then the second it was available on demand, I was watching it, and I've probably watched it twice already, and it's a 3-hour, I mean, it's a long movie. I never, ever get tired watching that.
Huh.
So really, any of his movies, except the only reason I say half of them is because at this point, I've seen Reservoir Dogs so many times that, and that movie, a little bit of that movie is like the kind of, when you know the secret, a lot of it's kind of like, okay, it's still a great movie. Pulp Fiction, of course. But yeah, anyway, Tarantino movies, The Departed, Rocky's my favorite movie of all time, so I can always watch that. Plenty of horror movies like Shaun of the Dead. A lot of horror comedies I can rewatch over and over. And Tropic Thunder without him. That movie is so ridiculous.
Vito Giswaldi pointed it out too, but I love that like millennials now at this point like call that problematic because of the blackface. It's like, well, you obviously don't get the joke. Watch the fucking movie.
Did you? I know you don't listen to him, but did you see his interview on Joe Rogan?
Yeah, I saw clips of it.
He's like, you know, I definitely thought I was going to get a lot more heat from it. He's like, but then Ben Stiller took most of the heat because of, his simple Jack character. He's like, so he actually took a lot of steam off me with that one.
God, I love that fucking movie.
Simple Jack. Yeah, that movie is, it's a pretty goddamn amazing.
I hate that like phrase, you can't do that anymore, but that's a movie, and it's only like 12 years old, but you really can't do that movie anymore. Society hasn't changed.
Oh, dude, yeah. And fun fact, that was the first Blu-ray I ever bought.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was when I got my big TV, and I had, what did I have that could play Blu-rays?
PS3, maybe?
Probably my PS3. I remember I was like, you know what? I just need to buy a Blu-ray, and of the ones available, I saw that. And this is when Blu-rays were still like $30 new.
Yeah.
And I bought that, and I was like, oh my god, the picture. But yeah, it was worth it. I still watch it to this day.
Yeah, I think maybe Street Fighter the movie was my first Blu-ray.
God damn it, Jim.
Really taking advantage of that that superior visual quality.
Fuck. Good question, but damn it, Jim. Now I'm mad again.
Good question. Even better answer. Thank you, me. All right, and that wraps up the Patreon questions for this week. So, once again, for anyone just tuning in somehow, Patreon.com, drink a beer, play a game, $2 a month. You get to ask a question, unless we ever take off, and then we got to close down that tier, and then we'll grandfather in all the oldies.
Exactly. All right.
So hop on now before we fucking take off right to the moon.
All right, let me go grab a beer real quick, and I'll be right back.
Yeah.
And I'm back. All right. Crack this son bitch open.
Rap on no time.
Keep rolling. All right. We'll get started again. 3, 2, 1. All right. So like Jim said, thank you everyone who submitted the question. But Jim, we mentioned during the Patreon questions, the PS5. Obviously, it sucks that shit came out a day after we recorded.
Yeah, I know.
But yeah, so the PS5 Reveal has been out, and it included a lot of new games. But first and foremost, what are your thoughts?
No goddamn price yet.
No price. There's a lot of speculation on price. What are your thoughts? I mean, let's right off the bat. Can we get over the fact that, just like the shit with the Gimmick accounts, the whole, make a joke about how the console looks, that in and of itself is kind of getting old. I don't care enough either way. I think it looks fine. I'm not saying it's, the most amazing design, but I'm also not saying the stupid shit it's a toaster or whatever. It looks a hell of a lot better than the Xbox console, which is a goddamn box. But yeah, I never get why people get so worked up, like I said, in defense or against the design of a console. It's does it play good games? Really? There's some goofy fucking consoles out there, and this really isn't one of them.
Yeah, I mean, it's a goofy looking shell, which, whatever. And yeah, I mean, the superimposing it, it was 3 days people were doing all their photoshops, and some were good, some were lame. I think the one of it being Cell's helmet from Dragon Ball was probably my favorite one. But yeah, I mean, it looks goofy. It's a goofy design, but I also really don't care that much either. I'm not gonna buy the first run of it, so by the time it has a revision, it'll have a new shell design anyway, like they always do.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like it's weird. People go too hard in the paint saying, I don't get people that think it looks amazing either.
I mean, there is a weirdly strong. It's weird the console war that's between fucking Xbox and PlayStation people.
So stupid.
It's complete cringe and on both sides. Who gives a shit? They're not even that different. like your little pissant little Xbox versus PlayStation console where it has nothing compared to fucking what Sega and Super NES was back in the day.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't hold the candle at all. So, like, it's just like, oh, this one has more teraflops, and this one has the exclusives. Okay, good. So, like, the people just go, I don't know. I think it's just a project of social media that, like, everyone ties their identity to something stupid. So, like, there's a lot of people out there who really tie their identity to, like, being a PlayStation fanboy. Or even worse out there are, like, the wrestling stan accounts that, like, worship, like, a single wrestler and shit like that. Like, fucking weirdos, man. So, yeah, it's a weird day and age we live in with the fucking Zoomers and shit like that. And actually, there's a lot of older people who care way too much about dumb shit, too. So,
I've never understood it. I think if you look at each generation, you can make arguments. I think if you wanted to say there was a competition, I'd say probably PS2 beat the Xbox.
Oh, it crushed it.
Xbox 360 beat the PS3.
No, it didn't. PS3 eventually won.
No, I'm saying PS3s were bought for their Blu-rays, but for games and everything else, and all in all, 360 beat that. And then this generation, probably PS4, simply for the fact it did have much better exclusives.
PS4 fucking murdered the one, dude.
Yeah, I don't care about, like, the technical specs. Here's the deal. Like, if you're going to go that in-depth trying to compare technical specs, then why don't you just get a PC at that point?
That's my biggest thing with the fucking PS5 reveal, because all the, like, first off, like, any reveal of a game these days, and it just happened today with fucking the new Rogue Squadron, it's always a cinematic reveal that shows no gameplay. So, like, there's no point in getting hype about this dumb shit you see. Anything can make a cutscene look good. Rise Son of Rome looked amazing. Fucking Order 1886 looked amazing. And guess what? They were meh games.
Yeah. Speaking of games, we gotta talk about, you know which one I want to talk about. And you better have goddamn watched
Yes, I watched the trailer for Resident Evil 8.
So, as
Brian
we
Chris
were
is back.
Chris is back. It's first person again. It's actually horror again. And as the guy who loves werewolves, of course, I like it. I don't know fully how I feel about that.
It's not really any different from the Plagas and shit like that. We had ice werewolves in fucking Revelations.
No, but it's I don't. Number one, those were just wolves, and that did the mouth open. This looks like it's not a fucking head that's gonna sprout open and have a tentacle. This looks like you're basically fighting werewolves, like just straight up horror. Which like I said, I'm all for because it's still horror themed. At this point, I almost wish they would like keep Resident Evil as close to just zombies as possible. Just Capcom, do another horror series. Like it's cool and all. And the game, like Jim said, it's tough to always say. Like I thought I saw some gameplay footage.
You didn't.
Some of that though, when he was moving, that wasn't like when they were holding the gun. Because it definitely looked a lot different than the cinematic.
I don't know. Maybe it could have been, for all I know. But it was like short little clips here and there. I mean, they probably just have the first fucking opening section rendered out and shit like that. So maybe it could have been. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, 7 looked amazing. I don't doubt this game is like looks and sound. Honestly, there's not many new games, unless you really shit the bed, that look or sound bad. So if they're following in the footsteps of 7, keeping with that, I have my fingers crossed it's going to be successful. So yeah, I'm really excited for that. And I would ask if you're going to play it, but you still haven't even played 7 that much.
Yeah, I haven't played it that much. I'll get around. Maybe I'll get around to it. We'll probably do a review on it. And my problem with 7 is we already like covered it thanks to you when I was on my break. So I'm like, oh, I'll get to that when I have time. And no, when do I have time? So.
You have plenty of time. What are you talking about?
So, yeah, what do you call it? I mean, I'll definitely be playing it because we'll be touching on that when it comes out and shit like that. So, I'm sure.
What other games though sparked your interest?
Ratchet and Clank looks cool. Like a lot of people are bitching that they're like, oh, it's just like the PS3 Ratchet and Clank with PS1 gameplay or PS2 gameplay, and I'm like, that sounds good to me. I miss the old Ratchet and Clank games, so. Give me your somewhat linear, beat 'em up-y hack and slash goofy collectathon games. Give me that. It looks good with nice graphics. Fine, wonderful.
Yeah.
See, like, I mean, I watched some of the clips, but like, I really maybe it's tough because I know I'm not going to get it right away, but like fancy graphics don't like wow me. I don't care. Like everything looks like you said, everything looks good now, so like graphics don't do shit for me, and just like purely cinematic trailers don't do anything for me, so it's tough for me to get hyped up.
As I mentioned with Jim being someone who hates stories, he also is pretty, and I don't know for sure if it's a combination of laziness or purposely. You never, even like when our friends would all get hype like for next Call of Duty when we were really hardcore into it, and all of us were talking about like, do you see this trailer? Like me and my one buddy Chris, we'd be like, oh shit, they revealed shit for these perks and these maps and da da da. Like we'd be hardcore wanting to look. Jim suffers. He's basically a nihilist. He doesn't care about anything. That's the problem. Like he truly like has this opinion of like nothing matters, and that he doesn't get excited for things like he should.
If I like it, I like it, and then if I don't wind up liking it, then I'm not as disappointed. Yeah.
You're someone that's not excited for Christmas, are you?
I'm excited for Christmas. I always get surprised.
You're really not that excited, though, are you?
No. See, the problem with Christmas for me is like I'm so worried about my gifts sucking that like I'm just anxiety riddled until it's fucking over. Like I'm just like, all right, just give me my presents, give me my presents. Oh, that's surprisingly and really nice. And then I'm like, all right, can you just open yours now so I can stop worrying? You can just pretend to like it.
So, like I said, you really aren't excited about Christmas.
I'm excited about Christmas. I mean, at this point in my life, I'm more excited for my kid to be excited for Christmas. Like, who gives a fuck for me? I don't know. It's not about me.
But that's my point. See, but that's my point. You probably, even in your teens, and even before you had a kid, you're just not that excitable by stuff. Jim, you need to be more excited about shit.
Yeah. What's there to be excited about,
You need to appreciate and enjoy shit.
What's there to be excited about? What's there to enjoy?
Life, Jim. Fucking life.
I enjoy things.
No, you don't. That's why you have that goddamn sigh all the time.
I enjoy things.
Goddamn appreciate trailers. Get excited for games. The thing that takes up a solid 40% of your life. You should be excited for new things that are going to give you future things of entertainment, you bastard.
But there's so many old things that can give me entertainment too. And I don't have to look at trailers for them.
But it's
new to me.
So stupid.
See, it's like new things, bro.
It's so stupid.
What's old is new.
It's like you go out of your way to play the bad things that not many people have played, and there's your excitement. That actually, you know what? That does make sense because I've said you are the type that automatically dismisses things if a lot of people like them. Like you're pretty notorious for that.
Sometimes.
Like if a lot of people like something before you even say, it's probably stupid. Like you take that opinion right away with movies, music, games. Like you're like, nah.
Right, I set a high bar for things. You have to excite me. You have to impress me. Show me what you got.
But
Don't be like the dum-dums out there. Don't be like the dum-dums out there who will just, jump head deep into whatever the next billionaire company throws in front of your face when they jingle your keys. Have those standards, Brian.
But Jim, you buy Keystone Light.
Yeah, it's delicious.
It's not delicious.
But I was buying them without Keystone. Hydrating. Keystone just makes it better.
But he's not even around anymore.
I know, I miss Keith.
Jim, we gotta fix you.
Goddamn Stone Brewing.
I think Doug was onto something, Jim.
Gotta break me down to rock bottom to build me back up.
That's right.
There's a lot of bombs I had that should have been rock bottom, but apparently not.
Well, hopefully, as new games come out, we can get Jim excited and he can look into them and not be such a goddamn sourpuss.
Look, I was excited for Streets of Rage 4. I was very excited for Streets of Rage 4.
Yeah, but you probably looked at like one thing for it and you're like, okay.
Yeah, there's only like 3 trailers for it, and every time it just showed some more characters. And I was like, okay, cool, more characters.
Shut up.
Shut up, you miserable fuck.
Yeah. All right. Well, yeah, I'm very curious. What's your guess if you had to throw out? What's the price going to be?
Well, PlayAsia threw up a pre-order that everyone freaked out about at $700. So it hasn't been confirmed that that's going to be the price. Maybe it's just a placeholder. I would say maybe because of the outrage for that, and maybe they chop off like 100 on each, because they always make console sales be a loss leader, and they make it up with software sales. So maybe the one with the optical drive will be like 600, and the digital-only version will be 500. That's my guess.
Yeah, what of the new consoles, Like, let's just say from 360 on. What was the highest price?
Yeah, it was like the PS3 that was at like $600. It was 6 or 7 when it was first announced, and that's why I was in the hole.
Which that made sense because also like it was a Blu-ray player,
right?
Like that was the thing that was also the other part of that like you're like, whoa, shit. All right, well it's crazy expensive, but it plays Blu-rays, so you could like kind of justify it.
Yeah, and the original ones like were still backwards compatible with both PS1 and 2, so it had a lot of shit in there, but it was also a flawed piece of tech that always burn out. So what are you gonna do? But they eventually won in the end, like they always do, because it's fucking Sony.
Yeah, so I'm curious. I think, yeah, you see a base model for like, I'll go to the 550 range.
Okay.
And then if there is an upgrade version, yeah, you go 6.
Yeah, I mean, it'll eventually have its Slim and its Pro and its Ultra Pro and its blah, 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 blah. Just the state of gaming these days.
All right. So let us know what you think, guys. If there's any games out there you're excited to see, or what your thoughts on the PS5 reveal was. But with that, we're going to move on to our first beer topic.
Yeah, before you do that, did you finish your beer yet? Because I finished the Edmund Fitzgerald.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Imported the Murphy Stout, as I've said, super easy to drink. Not much to discuss. I've moved on, and I'm already halfway through my next one, which is the Manayunk Brewing Company's French Toast Crunch.
Oh, okay.
Which
We've
is
had
a
that before.
maple cinnamon porter, 6%. Goddamn delicious. I've been trying to save that because I want to save it for a brew battle, but I have so many like one-off beers in my fridge right now that I'm trying to save for those. I just have to start going through them. And this one's pretty damn old, but still delicious as hell.
Yeah, and the Edmund Fitzgerald was kind of like yours, very smooth, very easy to drink. From the glass, it really didn't have that much of an odor. Good amount of lacing to it, but just...
I would hope it doesn't have an odor.
I don't follow.
Well, do you mean aroma? Because you said odor.
Oh, fucking whatever. Goddamn. The aroma with the... It's a sweet cinnamon in the aroma and the aftertaste. But, yeah, yes, in the aroma. It didn't have much of an aroma to it. But very solid stout.
Wait. We need, I need to dilate into that, Jim. Are you
right,
saying
what are you giving birth with your dilation? Tell me with words. I'll words you.
Listen, well, it's funny you words me because you're acting like I'm not. If you had said the smell, I would have been fine.
Yeah.
You do realize what odor means, right?
It might have a negative connotation.
It is a negative connotation. Don't act like I corrected you with a better, like, I'm saying don't say odor, because that implies it fucking stinks. It'd be like, Jim has an odor. Okay, makes sense.
Jim does have an odor.
Son of a bitch. Just trying to gloss over that like I corrected you with you using the correct terminology, you son of a fuck.
Maybe after 3 months of wearing a mask and smelling my own awful breath for 3 months, then the word odor just comes for it first and foremost anymore.
Damn it, Jim. That's what you're smelling as you put your face in the glass, too. You're like, oh, that odor's still there.
Every beer smells the same.
Damn it. We're getting canceled.
It smells like Swedish fish and corn pops.
What the fuck?
I don't know.
Damn it, Jim.
I don't know.
You wish.
I do wish. But anyway, moving on to our next beer topic. Our buddies, Breweries in PA, put a pretty cool article together called the Top 10 Counties for Breweries in PA, where they basically took a hard count of all the counties, all the breweries in them, and gave a list of how many were in each one.
Yeah,
isn't a quality list, isn't a nothing list, it's just strictly numbers.
Yeah, and what they really based it on is the any active breweries that currently have a brewery license as of June 2020. So there can be other breweries, but of this particular list from the PLCB database, yeah. Well, number one, it's
fucking
funny.
Pittsburgh, number one, fucking assholes. Allegheny County's Pittsburgh.
Every time I see them post and I see these top 10s, especially in PA, I'm like, of course it's going to be Pittsburgh heavy. And I saw it, and my first thought was like, oh man, I almost wanted to do counter research and be like, is it really that many out there? I don't have the energy to do that. But no, I mean, PA, we've said, is the Number 2, it was number 1 for a while in the U.S. for craft beer. Now it's number 2.
Wait, who beat us?
I thought it was California.
Motherfuckers.
I don't want to be
Couldn't just
wrong.
have their goddamn wine.
They're also just a lot bigger.
Yeah. That's all I got.
Yeah, I don't. Either way, PA is, for those who don't know, I mean, if you like craft beer, you like beer in general, we got a lot of them.
A lot of drunks.
And from this list, Pittsburgh is way ahead with 40 breweries. Montgomery County is 34. Philly County, I'm calling it Philly County. It's Philadelphia County because it includes other areas, but that's 32. Chester's 29. Yada, yada, yada. You go down to where I live, Bucks County's at 22, which...
Number 6, respectable.
I'm kind of shocked.
I thought there was more. I
double-checked those numbers, and here's the deal. So it doesn't seem like they're counting microbrews.
Then what the hell are they counting? Like brew pubs? Where
I think it's, you have to have some form of distribution. So you can be a microbrew, which is essentially
fucking
a restaurant.
dirty Yinzers goddamn fucking putting the goddamn numbers in their favor again. You pieces of shit. I hate you.
Yeah, because Bucks County, Jim is basically on the cusp of there.
A Philly and Bucks,
so, there's a lot of places that serve beer that they brew in-house. Oh, yeah. 22 does seem low, and Bucks County is a big county. That was the other thing I was interested in. I know nothing of Allegheny County, as Jim said, that's Pittsburgh. I know nothing of the scope and size. Like that, for all we know, that could literally be...
I'm probably wrong, but I think like Allegheny County includes Pittsburgh, whereas Philadelphia County is just Philadelphia, the city. So, there's a huge size difference there because Philly's big population-wise, but, landmass-wise, it's kind of small.
Tired Hands is probably is it in Montgomery or Chester? I guess it's in Montgomery because that's Artsdale?
Wow.
Yeah, I think that's a problem is Philly. There's a lot of them that you could, like, if you look into Montgomery County numbers, you could probably, and they themselves probably consider themselves a Philadelphia brewery, but once those lines are drawn, I feel like around Philly, these counties are like so much smaller than probably Allegheny County. It must be fucking huge.
Maybe, but I mean, like Montgomery's big, Bucks is big, Lancaster's pretty goddamn big, Chester's pretty big, so.
Yeah, but Lancaster, I mean, that's all farms.
Yeah, so they have nothing else to do. They might as well drink. They should have more, actually.
Jim, here's the thing.
See, the goddamn Amish don't know how to party.
I think you and I, what we need to do, and you and I have talked about
Go to a farm?
Especially, damn it, before all the crazy COVID shit happened, is really start going to counties near us, Bucks, Philly, whatever, Montgomery. Hit up each brewery, try samplers from all of them, and really get our own list from this.
I'm down for that.
Hopefully sooner rather than later we can start doing that again.
Yeah, well, apparently we're going green soon, so hey, shit's opening.
And then there'll be the bounce back.
See, it's kind of funny because I think it's weird to see LA hit so hard again because they got hit hard the first time. Well, they actually didn't get hit that hard the first time around. Weirdly enough, where like the East Coast got pounded with COVID when it first happened. So like we're not growing as much as it was before, so I don't know if it's closer to herd immunity. I'm not a scientist. I'll just let Bill Burr say it best and be like we're a bunch of not scientists trying to explain this shit.
No, it's very simple. The thing is, my favorite argument was last week when all the shit was going down when we recorded with the protests, with the riots, all that. My favorite comment of just jackassery was that people like 2 days after like, how come no one's reporting COVID? It's like, shit can take up to 10 days to even show a symptom if you get it. Like, I that mentality of like, oh, these rioters, they're all fine. I guess there really is no COVID. It's like, we'll see. Like, in 10 days, we'll see how numbers are. And chances are, because most of them probably were young, yeah, they might be okay. It's then the time of, if they had it, then they pass it on, yada, yada, yada. It's like, no one's debating at this point if you're healthy, if you're in your teens to 20s to 30s, you're probably going to be fine. That's never been really the bigger issue here. It's just like that mentality of like, I didn't see it happen to me, so it must not be that bad, is like the stupid mentality of like, that's not the point of this. So yeah, when shit goes green, I'm hoping it stays green, and I'm really optimistic and hoping people are smart, but
yeah,
most people aren't smart.
Yeah, I mean, I was at Acme earlier, and there was already people with no masks on. I was like, this is starting already. All right.
Here's the deal. I'd rather see someone go no mask than the idiots and fucking just pure lazy or whatever. They have the mask around their ears, but hanging below their chin. Like, you already made the effort to put it on your face. You're in the store. Just put it over. Like, either don't wear it at all, be defiant, and probably get kicked out or whatever you're going to do, or fucking wear it. Like, that in-between lazy shit, I can't stand.
Well, you said wear the mask.
So
I'm wearing a mask.
lazy.
I can go shopping now.
Yeah.
Don't chat on me.
It's always the same type of people that do that shit, too. It's always the same. They all look the goddamn same.
Careful.
What?
Right, it's not the time or place to be saying they all look the same. Right, read the room.
Jim, it's
right.
about white people. It's fine.
Oh. Yeah. Speaking of white people, that's a very good segue to the next topic, Brian.
Oh, God.
So, we're in a little bit of a point of social upheaval at this point. It's currently June 15th as we are recording this, and people are going cancel crazy once again. Anything cop related, like Cops is getting canceled. People are trying to fuck over Paw Patrol, which I think started as a joke, and then people took it seriously.
It was a joke.
It was a joke, but I think some people did take it seriously and started to like run with it. So it's also hit the glorious Sonic community, which is always known for being, a lot of mental health in there. So even our buddies G and Blade Blur, former guest of Power Hour podcast, will tell you that there's a lot of weirdos in the fucking community. So this one person named Penny Parker from Snaps Cube, which turns out to be like a fucking, basically what they do is they take their famous bit is taking the cutscenes from Sonic games and like overdubbing them. Funny. And they have 300,000 subs, which just kills my soul. But this person decided to go on a little rant. So, if I may begin, Brian, if I may be so bold,
go right ahead, Jim.
I think we've been a little too keen to overlook the fact that not only does the Sonic movie have James Marsden play a cop as a central character, but there is literally a joke where they have him cheekily say, "Time to abuse the power that's been entrusted to me." Like, what? This movie was released in 2020. They tried to pass it off as a joke. It was so uncomfortable every time I watched it. I haven't stopped thinking about it ever since. Anyway, nothing personal towards Mr. James himself, but please write Tom the Cop out of a sequel. Okay, good night. And I think I may be way too invested in the conversation, you think, around the Sonic movie, given that I didn't like it and haven't watched it since February. Okay, good night for real.
I'm giving a Jim sigh for that. So right off the bat, first thing I suggest to anyone, when you see something like this on Twitter, do yourself a favor. Take a few minutes before you right away, if you want to comment, click on the person's profile. Click on how they've commented. This particular person has a YouTube. I decided, let me see what this person is working on.
Oh, I did too.
It's a very thin veil when you click on it and go into it. Once you realize like the type of person it is, I'm like, I can't take anything they say seriously. I everyone's entitled to their opinion, but there's a certain level of like when you see what someone's all about, like when you see a really shitty troll who that's all they live for, and I'm not saying this person's even a troll. I'm saying judge for yourself. But like this is not like a reputable person who's someone who I would think in any sense of the word is academically or streetwise smart. This is not someone who probably has a true amount of real life experience with anything.
It's all the people with the fucking cartoon avatars. Everyone who's got him like this one Tapioca Silver, and that's on top of the whole deal with Tom's fiance's sister being portrayed as an unreasonable, arbitrarily spiteful, and indignant black woman who gets, in all capitals, tied up in her own home by a white male cop and then gets her car stolen and wrecked. And this is all meant to be funny? It's the fucking Sonic the Hedgehog movie. What the... If you unironically think this way... That's the thing.
I think they
nothing
really,
going on.
I think these people truly. That's what worries me. Is like someone actually does care this much. Like there are some people, as we said, there's gimmick accounts. There's shit out there that's like kind of like a lot of shit you post where you shit post. Like there's a lot of people.
But this isn't shit posting.
Kind of read the lines. That's my point. Like this person, this is their lives. This is what they're obsessed with. And they are legit
the fuck did I just see?
Upset with this. And I'm just like, oh man, just like do yourself a favor when you see those kind of things. Don't engage, don't comment, just walk away from just like it's honestly if you were walking to a store or something and you saw someone talking to themselves and like hitting themselves in the face, you're not going to sit there and engage. And if that person who was doing those things started yelling shit at you, you'd probably just walk on by. Like you'd wouldn't let it truly affect you. Like you'd realize like, okay, not my problem. Like this is what you got to do with Twitter. The problem is with Twitter, you go down the rabbit hole of seeing the comment, clicking on a person, seeing other shitty comments they've done. You're like, oh, fuck this person. And then you want to start commenting back like, as if you're going to change anyone's mind. Don't give it energy. Don't give it time. There's some crazy fucks out there. This is just another one of them.
Like
that's all.
Like the fucking Sonic fan base has already been memed into like the fanboy version of autism and shit like this isn't fucking helping. Like Jesus Christ, people.
Sonic, it's not a good look for. I mean, Sonic's
got enough problems. It's called DeviantArt, okay? You don't need to have fucking people out there trying so goddamn hard to pull. It's a fucking Sonic the Hedgehog movie. What the fuck?
It's funny. I tried talking my wife into watching that yesterday, or 2 nights ago. We settled on a different movie, but at first she's like, why would I want to watch that? I was like, watch the trailer. I was like, if you like Pokemon, and she watched the trailer, she's like, okay, it doesn't look as bad as I thought. She's like, but still, I don't want to watch it. I was like, damn it. So, still haven't seen it yet. I'm trying to see it.
I don't even think it's going to be that good. Like, I know people love it, and some people don't like it. Whatever, it's probably it's probably a movie. It might be fun. Whatever. But fucking Christ.
Yeah, stop reading into Sonic movies, and stop... Jokes are allowed to be jokes. The cop abuse.
And the point of his joke was it was a play on cop abuse. That was the fucking joke. You fucking idiot.
That's the point. There's no such thing as an appropriate joke. That's what the fucking point of a joke is. If it's appropriate, it's no longer a joke. So, yeah. Damn you, Jim. You always get me worked up with these things.
Look, right, if I have to see it, so do you. Okay?
Oh, I see plenty that you...
Goddamn right you do. I'm taking you down with me, you piece of shit.
All right, move on to happier things, you son of a
Okay,
fuck.
fine. Luckily, turns out we have a nice little happy, easy topic. So, from our buddy Kitt, which Castlevania has the best music?
Kind of easy for me. I wouldn't call it a cop-out, but you'll see why I think it could be. Super Castlevania 4.
I know you're going to say that.
Simple.
Yeah.
Well,
nothing against it. I know it's your favorite.
No. So not only the actual soundtrack for itself, the opening is amazing, but as you get through the final levels, they replay all the songs from the previous Castlevanias, and it sounds even better. So all the songs I truly love, like that Vampire Killer and Bloody Tears, I think it's called. They replay all those, and you get to hear them again, done in an even better system. So for me, that's a natural. Like those songs from there, I still like. I look up guitar riffs for full orchestras that play them. But like I said, 4 does a great job. Its own soundtrack, and then you add in the remixed or remade versions of all the ones I love. So, yeah, for sure, I go with that one.
Yeah, I mean, you really don't ever go wrong with Castlevania with, like, any of them as far as music goes. Like, maybe the technically worst ones you would ever find would be, like, the N64 games. But then even then, they're really good soundtracks, even for the N64. But I would probably just either go, it's a toss-up between Symphony or Rondo. Because you have that added CD quality sound to the remixes. And a lot like Super Castlevania 4, like, you get the remix of Vampire Killer. And I think Bloody Tears might be in one of them, hidden in there somewhere. So, like, the classics always seem to find their way back in these games. But the compositions are just top-notch, and that full orchestral CD quality sound just puts that a little bit over the edge for me.
So here's a question, and I don't want to be friggin' hung by fans for not knowing this. So I love that Castlevania does that. Like, they hit fucking gold with that first game, and like Vampire Killer, Bloody Tears. Those are just so classic. They know better than to not include them in future games. Has games like, and I can't remember, but like Super Mario 64, did they do any kind of remix version of the original, obviously, Super Mario theme?
Yes, but like the original Super Mario thing, I think maybe one or two songs were like sampled here or there. And shit. What the fuck is the name of that level? It's like it's in the caverns. I can't remember the name. It's something caverns. And that was a remix of, oh god. Fuck. It's like that was a remix of a classic of Mario tune. I can't put my tongue on it right now. So like
Gotcha.
they would throw it in here and there, but Mario 64 for the most part it's all original.
Yeah, and I get it, but like that's one of those ones where when you have such a great iconic song, like I'm not saying you have to use it every time, but doing a little fan service, throwing it in as a remix or whatever, like I think that goes a long way. It's kind of the same way as like something as simple
as a titty?
in the Avengers movie. No, Jim.
No one's ever not happy to see a titty, Brian.
What if you saw your mom's titty? Would you be happy with that, Jim?
Probably not, but I don't think I'd be seeing that in a movie.
And what if you did?
Well, I'd be finding a bus. I'd be finding a bus and I'd be jumping in front of it, probably.
Yeah, so I just proved your goddamn theory wrong.
I mean, shit, I saw Kathy Bates' titties. I don't think I'd be that horrified. But fuck, I mean, as horrified as would be. Never. Just move.
Yeah. Oh no, Jim. Why don't you dive into that?
No, seeing my mother's would be way worse than anything that you could see in a movie theater.
So we realize what Jim just did. That's called a Freudian slip, Jim.
I meant to say I've seen Kathy Bates, and even that wouldn't be as bad as seeing my mother's. But of course, me being me, stumbled over myself, much like how I walk.
It's a Freudian slip. It's fine. You know what? Whatever you gotta do, Jim.
Yeah, well, looking up that bus schedule right now.
Well, it's because of COVID. They're all thrown off.
Don't worry, Brian. I'll find one.
Oh,
COVID and rights be damned. I will find a goddamn bus.
I can't even kind of remember because what you just said threw me for such a goddamn loop. But that's amazing you said that. So thank you.
I aim to please.
All right. Moving on to an article from Kotaku, Jim's favorite site. And this has been on other sites, and it's probably all over the place, especially if you're a fan of The Simpsons. But, Jim, what game can you now play from The Simpsons?
Lee Carvalho's Putting Challenge. The gift that Bart did not want during the Bone Storm episode.
Yep. It's a really funny... That is one of my favorite episodes, like just the way that played out. And, yeah, he's playing this game, and... Honestly, I saw someone post this. I thought it was a joke, and I didn't see Jim post this in the topics. And I literally thought, like, this is some shit Jim would want to play. And let me guess, Jim, you really would want to play, wouldn't you?
Apparently it's a browser game, so I still got to get around to doing it. That's all. Yeah. Like, someone just made a browser game, and apparently, like, it's not even a great golf game. And you can just smash the shit out of the ball and getting in the parking lot and go, ha, 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 like the episode, so whatever. But I did make the joke that I want someone to make like an actual card of it so I can frame it and put it up on a wall next to Lee Trevino's Fighting Golf, so I can have the ultimate Lee golf games for the NES right next to each other.
So Jim, I'm charging you and anyone listening. Similar, you see this a lot, especially with movies. Like there's a movie within a movie that you see and you're like, what the fuck is that? There's a lot of movies I feel like that have, or TV shows that have games in them that you're like, I'd want to play that. I want you to think more of these, like these fictional, for next episode, of games you'd want to see made into real games that aren't real games.
Ooh, that's a good one. Fuck, what was that? What was that Catholic game that Rod and Todd were playing?
Oh,
Shit.
Fuck.
Would they convert the Heathens game, or like the fucking, or like the Buzz Lightyear game they were playing at the beginning of Toy Story 2?
Yes, exactly. So let's save some of those, but yeah. So that may be a segment. I want us to think about games we'd love to see made into real games. If anyone out there, by next week, you know what? I'll make sure I'm going to play this. I'm going to see how it is, and Jim, you have to as well. All right, Jim. So I just finished my beer. Not much to say about the ones I've already mentioned. The Manny Young French Toast Crunch, goddamn delicious. I forget if it's a limited run or just seasonal, but get it if you can, especially if you like flavor. And now I'm moving on to the Abita Brewing Company's Strawberry Lager. This was one... Did I have that last week when we were doing it? I had a few things from Abita, but I can't remember if... I know I had the raspberry one. I have drank this before. It's only 4.2%, and it's super easy to drink. Not a ton of the actual strawberry, kind of like Abita's thing with the raspberry. But it's like, it would be a perfect, if you don't want just straight beer, you want a tiny bit of flavor. This is a pretty good choice to go with.
Sounds tasty. Sounds interesting. Yeah, but the Washington Porter, see, it's weird. Like, after having the Washington one, after the Edmund Fitzgerald, like, there wasn't, like, a huge difference. Like, they both pretty much tasted the same. They both drank the same. They were very smooth. Washington Porter has a little bit more alcohol. It's at 7%. But, yeah, either one of these, if you want a nice, smooth drinking porter that goes down good, get that Philly homegrown yards one with the Washington. It's good.
Yeah, I would say Washington is better. And from... Oh, it's been a little while. I love the that whole Generals and Presidents beers. Have you had all of them, or just that?
I think I've been to the Yards Brewery before, so I've probably tried a lot of them, but I couldn't tell you off the top of my head which ones I had.
So they usually have the mix pack, and that's where I've tried all. I think there's 4. It's like one for Ben, one for George. I think for Jefferson. So it's like the Founding Fathers pack, but no, that porter, from what I remember it was really good. And is that the one? It like definitely had a more pronounced coffee flavor than chocolate, or vice versa. Like I remember one definitely feeling like it was stronger than the other.
It's pretty nicely balanced, but maybe it is a little bit more on the coffee side. I'll say a little bit more coffee-ish.
Okay,
but that's a good one. So rounding out the night, it's so nice to have a goddamn mini fridge in my basement now, because I can just walk 5 feet to get a fucking beer instead of all the way upstairs.
It's about time.
It's long.
Now you just need to get better beers.
Hey, I had a good selection in there. And then, of course, on brand, I had my Keyskins.
And Corona. And
the Corona was left over from a get-together, so that's not my fault. But the, what do you call it? So, finishing off with a Lagunitas Pils, the Czech-style Pilsner, and 6% alcohol by volume. So, keeping it over 6% tonight. Never had their Pils.
Wait, who's Pilsner? Who's Pilsner?
Lagunitas.
I think I've had them. Yeah, that's a weird style that a lot of breweries try. Like, if you ain't down with lagers, you probably shouldn't go to Pils, but a lot of places that make really good IPAs, like Lagunitas, tend to try that.
Ooh, very, very piney. Very, very piney smell right out of the bottle. It smells like marijuana. That's what it smells like. It smells like fucking weed. It's that piney.
Yeah. All right, Jim. So you put up the next topic. So go ahead and introduce
Yeah,
it.
I put it up last week, and it was actually kind of asked for me to elaborate a little bit on it by our buddy G. And overrated, underrated. Sonic 3 and Knuckles. Widely regarded as probably the best Sonic game as a package together. It seems to be the one that people put on the highest pedestal. Even it's the one that like the 3D fans and the old 2D fans alike are always like, oh, I thought Sonic 3 and Knuckles is the best. So I was like, all right, what the hell? Let's put it on here. So, Bri, let's keep with the Sonic theme tonight and pissing that community off. What do you think about Sonic 3 and Knuckles?
Let me just get off the bat. I don't know if I've ever actually beat that. I have of the Sonic games, I probably have the least experience with that one. So let me just be very clear with that. When I did play it, I remember being more excited about the ability to play as Knuckles, and then I played it, and I was kind of like, huh. Like, it didn't blow me away. Like, there was nothing about it that stood out as, wow, this is truly amazing. Like, it was cool, and I was excited, and I'd say most of the time when I played, the gimmick was playing as Knuckles. And I remember that whole, what was it, the lock-on shit?
Well, that wasn't until the big gameplay added one was like the different the different shields, like the water shield with the ability and the fire shield where you could like zoom and hit people, that kind of crap. The lock on came with the 3D ones because the control was so goddamn bad in them. Fuck 3D Sonic.
Yeah, so it was really good, but nothing as like I think of probably. It's tough to say, but I'd probably go with Sonic 2 for me over this. And generally, I think it probably would go as overrated just because of what Jim said. Like, everyone, like, renownedly says this is the best. Maybe it is from a gameplay style, but, like, for a nostalgia and people I knew, soundtrack, I don't ever think of it. I can't tell you a single song from off the top of my head. I can think of songs from all the other Sonics. And gameplay, like, I didn't have issues with the other Sonics where I felt like they needed to be improved enough, where this one did something that made me really think, like, oh, this is now way better because of this. It was really just the gimmick of playing as Knuckles, but honestly, after already being able to play as Tails and being someone other than Sonic, I was like, okay, I get it. So, like I said, very simplistic. I'm just saying it's overrated for those very simple reasons.
Yeah, you know what? I'm going overrated too because I don't see the hype. Like, I beat Sonic 3 on its own, and I've played some of Sonic and Knuckles together, but I was like, when you put it together, it's the full package that was always meant to be, blah, 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 blah. But even then, I was just like, okay, like, it's just more of Sonic 3 with, like, some more levels. Like, I never liked the music in Sonic 3 or Sonic 3 and Knuckles as much as 1 or 2. Like, it's well composed, it's very good sound quality, but I just don't think it's as catchy or as memorable. I don't like the change in graphics to Sonic Sprite himself, or to, like, I think the enemies, and this is kind of weird to say in a Sonic game, saying the enemies are uninspired looking, but, like, after a while, it's almost like it's kind of samey. And the levels are, it's weird because, like, Green Hill in a lot of ways is so loved because not only does it show off the speed that you could have had with Sonic 1, but you could also really explore and go in a lot of different directions. And 2's biggest criticism is that the levels are too linear. So 3's levels, for the most part, are fucking huge, and there is a lot of secrets to explore and crap like that. But I found myself getting lost a lot in 3's levels. Like, the other Sonic games, I never ran out of time and died because of that. That happened to me a good amount of times in my first playthroughs of Sonic 3, and sometimes in 3 and Knuckles. Like, the levels are just, like, too cryptic where it isn't like, oh, you can explore but still go right and eventually get to an exit. It's you can explore, go right, and then you hit a wall, and then you gotta, like, backtrack and try and find other shit. So I just didn't even really like the level design that much in them. So, I don't know, like, everyone always jerks it off, but I always found it really overrated for the most part. Like, nothing about it ever seemed better than what was already there. Maybe just the fact it's a bigger adventure, but I don't know. Maybe at that point I was like, been there, done that, especially with the kind of guy that I am. But yeah, I never saw the hype behind it.
Yeah, and I think that's what killed it for me was I played it hearing hype even back in the day, and I remember playing it like, but it doesn't do that much different. So it was kind of always like that mentality, like Jim is saying for him, that's what can really ruin a game for me or make me think like, what is it I'm missing about this? Like I said, I'm not one to say if you really go to a technical level, maybe the graphics and sound, obviously it's objective. Maybe they are better. Maybe it's better composition, but I personally don't like them better than 2. So
yeah.
That's just where I'm at.
Yeah.
So I would love to hear what people have to say because, like we said, we see a lot of people really love the shit out of this game.
Oh yeah, like it's on like for most Sonic lists, it's like up there as like the best one.
Yeah.
And I've always just been like,
yeah. Yeah, it's a little bit unfortunate, but at the same time,
and sucks for the fans of Sonic 3 because right now it's in that big licensing dispute with the Jackson estate, so it can't even be on collections now. So
just another ding for Sonic.
like Sonic needs more dings.
Yeah. So let us know what you guys think below. Once again, it's very odd. Jim and I usually aren't on the same page, but this time we were. So let's see some hate.
Yeah. Don't worry, Brian. I'm sure if anyone ever finds this episode, we'll get enough hate from the Sonic fans.
Oh, of course. All right. All right. So we'll do a quick cut. You were right. We actually did do this.
Yeah, I looked it up.
Mega Man
39.
Yeah. So what can we do? Did we?
Oh, you know what? Let's just dig that knife in one more time. Bring it now.
Stick with Sonic.
Yep. Watch out. Oh goddamn! Oh, fuck. Going down. Get rid of that search. Fucking go away, Skype. Search bar. Boom.
Oh, that's so mean. Honestly, you know what? Let's just make it more interesting.
See, I don't know, because like with mine, it's arguably the best ones from what people say.
Wait, what?
Because since people say Sonic 3 is the best one, a lot of people say Mario 3 is the best one.
Okay, that's fine.
So let's just leave it there. Let's just keep twisting that knife.
Just say Sonic 3.
Well, everyone says, well, and Knuckles is the complete package. Trust me, I know the people.
All right.
I know what I'm doing here, Bri. I know who I'm trolling.
All right, back in 3, 2, 1. All right, and to keep this knife really digging and turning.
See, it's funny because we actually had another topic here, and I was like, I think we did that before. Turns out I was right for once. So I decided to just one more little stabby stab to the Sonic fans.
And before Jim goes on with that, what we were going to do is you can see the video link below. Do our reoccurring bit, which is better, and we were going to do Samus or Mega Man. So that was something we actually already did before.
Power Hour 39.
Check out the video. Yeah, and the actual specific clip I'm going to put down here for you guys. So it's clip number 145. So, all right. Like Jim said, well, like I said, and then Jim inferred, which is better? We are going Sonic 3 and Knuckles, which, as we just said, a lot of people consider the most complete package and the best, versus Super Mario 3.
yes.
Well, I think this is. I said this is mean of Jim because one, even if you're a Sonic fan, I don't think there's a Sonic game that beats Super Mario 3 for the simple reason that as we found out when we did the brackets like a year or so ago, almost every bracket has Super Mario 3 as the best NES game. And there's a few that might have Legend of Zelda, but really it's always Super Mario 3 is in the top 3. You don't see that same kind of thing for Sonic 3 and Knuckles, and it didn't have that kind of impact, and it didn't have the hype around it, and honestly, it doesn't live up to the hype of what Super Mario 3 did for that series versus what this game did. It's just not, you can't even compare, like how important it was, and honestly, there's a lot more to do in Super Mario 3 than there is the Sonic games. The only thing you could say for Sonic, and it really comes down to preference, is that it looks better. And sound is subjective enough where I could argue that I like the sound in Super Mario 3 better than this. So, yeah, I think this is a pretty easy one. Going Super Mario 3, Jim.
Yeah, I didn't make it hard this week, but I might have done that on purpose. But yeah, I mean, I think of all the mascot platformers, the closest fight that Super Mario 3 would ever have against anyone else would be Sonic 3 and Knuckles. And even then, come on, it doesn't compare. Sonic 3 and Knuckles is a good game, as we just stated. It's an overrated game. But as far as being the best of its thing, Mario 3 just smacks it down. And even, if you want to do Super Mario World versus Sonic 3 and Knuckles, I'd still give it to Mario World. There's just too much to do in those games.
Yeah, like I said, I could almost see someone trying to argue the original Sonic between the music, how fast it was, like that initial wow factor, and the fact that that was also one of the main reasons why Genesis did as well as it did. You could make some historical arguments, like you might be able to do that. But Sonic 3 and Knuckles, yeah, I would love to see someone truly
I put this up here. I put this up here as a challenge. I want the Sonic community to see this video and to try and explain to us and convince us why Sonic 3 and Knuckles is better than Super Mario 3.
Yeah. It'll be... Oof, that's a tough challenge. Jim and I are not too... We're not too stubborn to admit we're... Like, if we're wrong, we're wrong. And if you give a convincing argument, then...
Oh, I'm wrong all the time. I'm wrong. I'm a hypocrite. I'm everything.
Oh, yes, you are.
Please, I'm not afraid to be any of these things.
You're also a fence sitter.
Fence sitter?
Yeah, you are so easily swayed. Here's the deal. I'm stubborn, but I can admit I'm stubborn. And I can even admit, like I've said many times, Resident Evil is my favorite game. But I'll never say it's the best game. Whereas you would, like, if you have a best game, like, you'd be like, Star Fox 64 is the best game because... Blah, 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 blah.
I've said it 1,000 times. Star Fox 64 is my favorite game. The best game ever made is Tetris. I've said it 1,000 times on this podcast.
And that's what's stupid. Like, you just
that's not a stupid argument. It's not fence sitting either. That was your thing.
It's a terrible fence sitting argument.
In what way is that fence sitting?
Because there's no way you can't. Just like you used to argue, and I would shoot you down. You'd be like, "Portal's such an amazing game."
It is an amazing game.
And I would just ask you a simple question. I said, "Is it as good as Skyrim?" Well, they're two different things. It's a simple question. Is it as good as Skyrim? And you knew what the answer was, but you purposely, out of just wanting to argue with me.
Because that's a retarded argument, but I know what you're getting at.
But that's my point.
Skyrim is a better game.
You can say, and that's my point. It's not like I said, you asked me, hey, or you told me, Portal's an amazing game, and I said, well, what's better, that or a goddamn, Mercedes? That would be two different arguments. You can compare any game to any game. And the fact of the matter is, you can try to tie arguments to yourself, but anyone who picks up a goddamn Atari and plays a modern console there's a difference, and one is better. And you can have historical context, you can have many things, but at the end of the day, there's something better there. And whether we like to admit it or not, graphics, gameplay, story, length,
Bride, please, story. Come on.
It all matters. So you just tend to, you like to argue.
I'm sorry that I want my games to have the good gameplay. Oh, I want to see through cinematic fucking bullshit.
Oh, you're trying to say Skyrim doesn't have good gameplay?
Yeah, it does have good gameplay.
Yeah, so shut the fuck up. Oh, you don't shoot holes in walls?
Maybe there could have been some more hole shooting in Skyrim.
Shoot holes in you.
Now I'm getting turned on.
Damn it. Think about Kathy Bates and your mother again.
There's that sigh.
You're never living that down.
Yeah. Probably should have thought for a second before talking on that one. But, well, there's a clip for the rest of my life to haunt me with like so many others.
So let us know, guys. Try your best to convince us otherwise. But speaking of people trying to convince us,
I saw this 11th hour little thing you threw in here, Bri.
So I don't
quite
know.
Possibly our most divisive video, I will say, for likes and dislikes. It's almost 50-50.
Every time we've done any top 10, if they're sports titles, especially sports titles, we tend to get tons of, I can't believe you think this or this, da 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 da. But one that always, of our other top 10s, like we did all the Mortal Kombat games and top 10s for best fighters, worst fighters, best fatalities, worst fatalities. We ran the gamut of literally everything with Mortal Kombat. And we played every single goddamn game to exhaustion. So in our worst fighters, though, we used to get a lot of hate because we had Tanya on there. Now, in the past week, we've gotten like 4 comments, maybe 5, about specific people upset that we put Rain in this list. And here's the deal. The first comment was very like, I'm not being conspiracy. I was almost like, does this guy have multiple accounts or did he tell people? Because it just seems weird. Like on a video that we haven't seen comments, like every so often, the most other obvious comment we get for that is people are like, I understand why you have Striker.
It used to be Tanya.
It was Tanya. It was people saying, hey, I love playing as Striker, but I get it. Like, why you would put him on there. And our simple shit with Rain was, of the Ninja Male characters, he was the lamest. And he is the lamest.
But he's purple!
And the amount of, like, people debating, like, first it was, like, some kind of smart arguments. Others suggesting we might have an added chromosome. But then other people are like, but his playstyle allows you to disrupt other people's playstyle. It was like people really stretching. And I'm like, why is there all of a sudden such a love for Rain?
Implying like, Mortal Kombat's ever been the most technical fighting game ever.
Well, I mean, that's stupid to say. It's not technical. It is technical, but that's not even the point. I'm like, where did this love for... It's not like that's a comment that we've always seen. Like, and to get like 4 or 5 in a row, I'm like, once again, either this guy... It goes back to those fucking... What you were saying. These people who have these like gimmick love for things. Apparently we hit the fucking Rain Mortal Kombat fan club. And they're really pissed off. And I just want to say, from the bottom of my heart, he still sucks. And he probably sucks worse now because of people like you. Because... he is still fucking lame. He is so corny. He's fucking Rain. He's not even like a tidal wave. He's fucking raindrops. Like, his powers are the weakest. His story is certainly the most boring. And what was he in, 9 or 10 that his story got expanded?
I think 9, right? But like his DLC, so. I want to say.
Yeah, I can't even remember.
He didn't even make the cut for the real game.
Like in MK11, is he even in that game?
I haven't played it yet.
I've played it, I beat it, and then there's obviously been a ton of DLC.
RoboCop.
Let me see. RoboCop is in there.
Just for a little context for how much people like this video, 146 likes, 96 dislikes. Very close.
Yeah. Whenever you... So what I found, and this isn't news to probably anyone who creates videos, if you make a best of video, you may get some dislikes, you may get people arguing, but they're not generally going to dislike it. If you say worst, and God forbid you put some of their favorite characters like we did, you're going to get a lot of hate. And it's like, that's what it should be. It's supposed to be, you're supposed to be able to debate me and tell me why. Nobody's tried, one person, like I said, did try to explain why they think Rain is actually good. It's like, okay, I hear you. I don't agree, but that's why we make our list. So I just had to put that in there because we were just talking about pissing off people with this Sonic argument. And I was like, yeah, I've noticed a lot of hate for this goddamn Rain thing.
Yeah, that I noticed that lately too. I was like, where the fuck? Like, my only hope is there's some like weird random subreddit that's like dedicated to Rain that like someone posted a video and went, look at these fucks. And everyone's like, let's go bomb the video. So thanks for the views. Need them.
Yeah, I mean, everyone's entitled to their opinion. And just like Jim, you could be wrong a lot. That's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. So, yeah. So he only makes a cameo in MK11.
Oh, tragic. Hey, congratulations, guys. You guys in like 3 games.
But it is funny because Mortal Kombat is one of those, since we did review all the games, like I feel like every once in a while we just get hit with them, like with people all of a sudden like discovering our channel with that. So yeah,
it's a shame that like for the most part, anytime like our most viewed videos are the ones that piss people off the most, so no one ever sticks around. God fucking damn it.
Of course. Well, Jim, you did
I know Simpsons hit and run.
jobs.
I know. We've been over this.
But the new people got to know.
Oh, they sure do. Look, we made enough cardinal sins with the baseball video and be like, baseball stars are number 5. What?
I still stand by that. I don't care what anyone says.
Implying that an NES game is actually a good sports game for the most part, if it's trying to be a simulation.
Well, here's the problem. Nobody is wrong when what they're arguing, but they didn't listen to the first like couple minutes of that video where we say the point is we know some games are better simulation games. We want games that are actually fun and offer fun features. And everyone gets their boner up about goddamn baseball stars. They're like, but that was your first game you could create a team and manage it and stuff. It's like, yeah, for 2 dudes that get together, drink beer, and want to play games against each other, we're not digging that deep into it. Is the game fun? Do you have crazy powers? And I don't care what anyone says. Baseball Simulator 1000, and there seems to be a lot of people that agree with us, is still the most fun because you can fucking knock a dude into the outfield and you can like light them on fire, and the special powers are ridiculous and fun in that game. So no matter what you say, Baseball Stars is not the best.
God, stop being nerds. Fucking bunch of nerds. Goddamn time. Fucking cares? Who cares? Goddamn much. Go watch your game trailers and get mad about them. God, that's your people, Brian. That's what it is.
So with all that,
leave the true mental health to the cynics of the world like me.
We want to say thank you guys for watching. I am ignoring you completely. Thank you guys for watching. Please, once again, if you're not already, subscribe, comment.
Brian, how's your last beer? God damn it.
It's like I said at the beginning. The strawberry flavor's there. It's just not overpowering, but then it's got that kind of stale, typical taste of a lager. So it's very meh. It's fun. Like if it was summer, and as Jim likes to say, a refreshing beer, it's certainly that. I'll say that.
Yeah, my Lagunitas Pils, as a Pilsner, like a micro brewed Pilsner, it's good. It's not earth-shattering in any way, but the biggest standout of it is the aroma, because from a full glass all the way down to like dog dick nothing at the end, it still is heavy aroma and just nothing but straight pine. Like it still smells like fucking weed, and it's at the bottom. So that's actually kind of impressive that it keeps that aroma that long.
Yeah. Yeah, like I said, I'm pretty sure I've tried that, but I'm not 100%.
Yeah, it's good. It's definitely worth the drink.
once again, please make sure you like below, subscribe. If you're listening on iTunes, Spotify, or Stitcher Smart, please subscribe, leave comments, rate us, whatever you can do. Please help support us. Keep watching the show. And as always, guys, cheers.